Alrighty guys, welcome back. We are playing Higurashi When They Cry. Chapter 2, Watanagashi. Last time, we set up for the Watanagashi festival, of course, the namesake of the chapter. Man, it is so hot right now, I am like dying. So, I also have like a strict timeline today, I can only record for like hour 20 maybe, so I don't know, hopefully this chapter won't be longer than that. If it is, might have to, you know. What was our tip last time? I don't remember. Oh, I didn't read them last time. I gotta read the tips. Man, I am slacking off, aren't I? So let's go through the tips. But yeah, last time we set up for Watanagashi. Keiichi learned about all the murders and stuff this time. In a very different context than last time. There's some confusion. Okay, so I want to clear this up. Just so it's, it's clear that I understand now. There's some confusion that I had about the whole Mion Shion business. That someone in the comments told me about it, and like people were saying they were like spoiling me, but like it makes sense to me. It seems like something that it feels like the game expects me to understand anyway. The context is that Mion was at Angel Mort that whole time. We didn't actually meet Shion until the night of the dessert festa, whatever they called it. I don't even remember. That was the first time KJ actually met Shion, right? It was Mion every moment up until then. Which maybe that's like a spoiler, but that also just like makes sense from the text that we were shown. Like, in the scene where Shion was exposed and all of that happened, she said like, "Oh, I wanted to like meet Keichan," So it makes sense that that was like her meeting us. So I don't know, that makes sense to me. That makes sense more like, yeah, of course it was Mion who had told Keiichi all that stuff about the dam at Angel Mort before. Because I was so confused about that, because Keiichi was thinking about how Mion had told him about the dam stuff before. And I was like, no, but wasn't that Shion? Because I thought Shion was the one who has always been at Angel Mort. But no, that was Mion. And the only reason I feel like it's not really a spoiler is because, like, just based off that conversation last time that was really confusing to me by Keiichi thinking that that was Mion at Angel Mort, it seems obvious that that is, like, the context in which I'm supposed to understand it. So, I feel like it's not really a spoiler. I mean, I guess I could just be confused the whole time. Maybe that'd be more entertaining, but it feels good to me, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright. First tip here. Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onigashiki village, the anger of Oyashiro-sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens, and what sort of divine judgment, curse, befalls them when Oyashiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma of hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. Wow. Okay. Miasma, that just, that makes me think of the swamp. Like, for some reason, for some reason, miasma and swamp are, like, related words to me. Am I making that up? I gotta look up the definition of miasma for a second. I'm sorry, I know. Okay. Yeah, I get a highly unpleasant or unhealthy smell or vapor. For some reason, I just always think of miasma and swamp as, like, linked. And obviously that makes sense, because, like, the Onagachi swamp. Yeah, all that. But yeah, that's interesting, I suppose. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine that they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. The conditions for inciting Oyashiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Onigashiki village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oyashiro-sama was termed angry. In order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. Who is I? Who is this perspective of, I wonder? Akano, maybe? Because she is the one who told us about the sacrificial ritual stuff, which I feel like I might have been a little bit too dismissive of. Because obviously, I can't really be locked in on, like, my theories from Onikachi, because nothing in Onikachi made any sense at all. So, I can't really just say, like, oh, I want to be steadfast in my idea that everyone's going insane, because... And then, here, just to really ramble for a long time and not talk about anything that matters, I was thinking about this, about how in Onikachi, I talked so much about how my idea is just that Keiichi was going insane in Onikachi. Reno was going insane in Onikachi, probably from the same thing. I think that same thing happened to Sachi. I think he killed his aunt. I think that's what the context of that murder was. Just like the way Keiichi, beat Reno and Mion to death in Onikachi, right? So there's something making all these characters go insane and do this stuff, you know? Um, the problem with that explanation is it doesn't actually explain much about any of the previous murders, you know? Like, me extrapolating that Satoshi is the one who killed his aunt is, like, kind of an explanation. There's no evidence of that. I'm just linking that because, like, Keiichi and Satoshi were, like, the same. And it would make sense to me if Satoshi did, like, the same thing, you know? Along with, like, Rena beating up her classmates at the school. But the problem with that explanation is it doesn't really explain anything at all, does it? Because, like, why are they going insane? Who actually committed the murders in any of these cases? I mean, I guess it could just be random people. It doesn't explain any of, like, Mion's weird behavior. So, I guess I just gotta, like, remember that I don't know anything still. I need to make sure that I am not dismissing any information as, like, misleading me or something, I guess. Even though this author would totally do that. So, I don't know. That's all about that, I guess. And I mean, this makes sense to me. The idea that the villagers performing sacrificial rituals are like they're the ones like taking the place of Orishiro-sama's curse, right? Like they're carrying it out for him, basically. And in that case, it like obviously it wouldn't actually be supernatural. It would be like the village conspiracy type thing. The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning, involving plunging sacrifices into Onigashiki Swamp, which was considered hallowed, which of course we know a bunch of people have been in the swamp, that's for sure. Of the rituals of Onigashiki Village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. Well, at least they would die, like, instantly, so it'd be okay. I mean, they'd still, like, drown. It would suck. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of the sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Orishiro-sama's anchor. I have to make sure I have recording space. I always forget to check recording space before I record only Higurashi. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Man, we've had a lot of interruptions. My bad. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Interesting. Okay. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or a similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice up with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. Awesome. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. Sure. Okay, like the hoe that Rika uses in the big ceremony, you know, when they cut up the mattresses and stuff. Although I don't know what that would have to do with, like, I don't know, what do you use a hoe for? To sink someone into the swamp. Implements used for the ritual, sure. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements or ritual implements, and even now, some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the three families. Where's my thing? Oh god, I forgot my book. What am I doing? I am disorganized today. 3 families. So who would I think the 3 families are? For all I know, the next line will tell me. It probably will. So I would say it's Furude, Sonozaki, and I don't know, someone. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onigashiki Village. Okay. As the Edo era came to a close and many traditional rituals were lost, were they lost as well, or perhaps buried in the darkness? A good question. I am so disorganized. Okay. I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the Feast of Onikashi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. The night of the Feast of Onikashi. I feel like that's not really a context we've heard that used in before, right? Because, like, I mean, unless, like, you know, because I guess the context, or the implication here, of course, is that the Onikakshis are just people getting thrown into the swamp, being sacrificed, you know, so. But calling it a feast is interesting, you know? I mean, that goes along with, like, the whole Onigashiki village, you know, the demons surrounding you. When Oishi was gaslighting Keiichi or whatever. Without a doubt, they exist here, today, at this very moment, in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. Okay. He may be able to do something about such a lock. Who is he? However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Hinamizawa is coming soon. Watanagashi, whenever in doubt Watanagashi. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Yeah. Okay. And that has to be talking, right? I mean, that has to be talking, right? So what? So I mean, that makes sense, right? She's like obsessed with the lore of Hinamizawa, right? So her wanting to look into this so much, I have to close Discord. Her wanting to look into this so much, to like do, I don't know, have some plan to do this makes sense. If we really just want to speculate, I wonder if like whatever she's gonna do here, I wonder if she also did it in Onikashi, break into this place or whatever, break through this padlock to take a look at these implements. I wonder if she also did that in Onikashi before we met up with her at the end of Watanagashi. And that's part of like what angered the villagers, or angered Oyashiro-sama, whatever you want to call it, to result in her being Onikashi. Rabble, rabble, rabble. Omiyama. Ah, Kuma. Must be another cop, right? I don't think we've seen Komiyama. Tomorrow is finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, will be strained the whole way through, especially because of their murders. This is why they could never catch the murderers, they're always drunk. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way. Uishi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up. Oops, my bad. Otsukara-sama. Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Uishi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. God, how do you say that? That's like I don't know why I can't. Kurado? I don't know. Uishi. I don't know. That's a rough one for me. I wish someone would say it out loud. A detective just waiting to retire. One who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations, and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. That is a different... I mean, I guess, if you don't want to call him looking into the murders so deeply real work, but... Unless that only started this year, I don't know. No, but we know it didn't, because we know he visited Ruka's mom before she drowned. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for jojiks. I mean, there's also the whole crazy shit with the messenger ratio. So whatever. I'm not gonna figure it out right now. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him. Everyone present stands upright and lends their ear to the chief's directions. Interesting phrasing. Good luck. Yeah?
必ず事件は起こると考えてくださいよ。抑止が一番ですが、まあ多分無理でしょう。今年も誰かが死んで誰かが消えます。もう間違いなく。
間違いない。Everyone, apart from the section chief, smiled painfully.
大井さん、そんなんじゃ困るよ。もっと真剣にやってくれなきゃ。
I'm assuming that's the section chief.
肝心なのは祭りの夜を越すことじゃないんです。明日の夜、 起こった何かに迅速かつ徹底的にどこまでも食いついていくこと。
Sure.
気合い入れてくよ。兜の尾を引き締めてき。
I don't know. I can't help but just read into everything what she says.
様のたたりの化けの皮を完璧にひっぺかしてやるぞ。
Well, good luck. Good luck. I don't know. I really am curious if it's going to be Takano and Tomitake again who die. Alright, well, let's continue. And that took like 20 minutes, so I don't know. Probably going to have to break in the middle of this chapter, unfortunately. But, I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
本当
Oh.
に伝えたいのは違う言葉だった。本当に感じたいのは違う心だった。すれ違いが溝を生み、ためらいの気持ちが人を恐怖へと沈ませる。もう誰も止められない。冷たい感情がむき出しの心を深く残酷にえぐってゆく。綿流し。なぜあの時とつぶやく後悔の言葉。それはもはや虚しい響きだった。
That was Mion's voice actor, right? It just sounded different. I assume it was. For some reason, it was hard for me to tell. Because obviously, when we had a moment like that in Onikashi, it was Rina, right? And again, like that moment in Onikashi with Rina is seriously like a major thing that's making me think the whole everyone going crazy idea is true, right? Because it was phrased in such a way, like when she said, like, what was her wording? It was like the murderous intent took over her mind or whatever, you know? It really was just phrased in such a way that it's clear. I mean, it's, I've said this a million times, but it's so clear that these characters aren't crazy psychopaths manipulating Keiichi because they're evil, right? So, I gotta make sure I remember this save. I mean, I guess I have it right there. I'm probably gonna want to read that again at some point. But obviously, a lot of that's very applicable to Mion's situation right now, so... It felt like it was said in a context of future events that we haven't seen yet, but... I don't know. Because she was regretting doing something at some point. And I wonder if we've already seen it, or if we haven't. I assume we haven't seen it yet. Because like, the major, the issues are picking up now, so... Runa was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy.
おはようって、もう夕方だぜ。こんにちは、だろ。
でも、今日ケイチ君にする最初の挨拶だから、やっぱりおはようがいいな。
I have a confession. I hate when people do that, when they say good morning, when it's not morning anymore. Like, I don't know. For some reason, that really is my pet peeve. When I've been awake for 7 hours and someone's like, oh, good morning, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
じゃあ、おはようでいい。おはよう、レナ。
I grabbed Runa's head and rubbed it with my hand. That is even closer. I swear to God, that is even closer than she ever is. Than in Onikashi. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. Hey, Mion. I don't think you need to apologize, girl. I think Keiichi needs to.
まあ、それを言うなら俺の方が悪かった。ミオンをずっと待たせっぱなしでごめんな。
Oh God, I'm worried.
昨日のお祭りの準備のことかな。どうだった？
Yeah, we need couples therapist Runa on the case, for
し
real.
っかりとお仕事してた？
The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious.
頑張ってたよ。粘ってたけどね。
I grinned dryly, and the three of us break out into laughter.
サトコとリカちゃんは祭り会場で合流か？
うん。リカちゃんはほら、大切なお勤めがあるから、昨日からずっと。
Wow. Okay. Well, they live there, right? At least that's what I think. No way to know. But Rika calls it her land. Sadako said it was their land. I feel like Sadako and Rika must live together because Sadako's entire family is dead. Rika makes Sadako's lunches, come on. Keep up.
さとこちゃんもそのお供だそうだから、もう二人とも神社にいるよ。
Right, I just remembered. Although now I'm wondering, like, why would they keep it this much of a secret, if that is what's going on? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? It'll be relevant when it's relevant. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on.
よっしゃ早速行こうぜ
Ah, I love this shot of the sky. As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too. I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs.
ケイチくん早いよ。
I thought he was tired.
たくケイちゃんお子様なんだからな。
Whoa, the shrine grounds. They were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one.
わあ、今年も立派だね。すごいね、すごいね。
南沢中から出てきてるんだろうな。ありゃ、君吉分家の寝たきりじいさんまで来てるじゃない。
Miyoshi, we have heard that name a couple times, haven't we?
あのじいさん、去年の綿流し以降、ずーっと布団の中で過ごしてたんじゃないかな。
Because I remember he seems like somewhat of an important person. I just don't understand, like, what we've heard that name a few times, and like the context of like calling him for like business about stuff and. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today.
あ、さとこちゃんだ。はーい。あら、皆さんでございますの。こんにちはですわ。
ようさとこ今日はすごい人手だよなはぐれて迷子になるなよ
誰が迷子になるんですの？
Sadako, too, seemed somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same one.
あれ？リカちゃんは？まだ自由時間でしょ？リカは村長さんたちと挨拶してましたですわ。すぐに来るでございますわよ。
I see. Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festival, after all. What was the... I don't know. I swear there's something I wrote down about... something. Never mind. Never mind. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders.
実に大変なのですよ。
Ah,
こんにちはなのです。はあ、リカちゃん。お持ち帰り。
Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance.
どう？丈とか長すぎない？バッチャからもしも袖がかかるようならって安全ピンを預かってきてるんだけど。
大丈夫なのです。実に快適なのですよ。
As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. Yeah, I was like, Rena's gonna freak out. There is approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move. Approximately?
ケイチ君は可愛いと思わないかな？思わないならレナノになっちゃうからお持ち帰り。
You might have some competition, I don't
す
know.
ごく可愛いと思うぞかなり活かす不敬のふりをして写真を撮りまくりたい
Okay, I don't think you have to do, I think you just take pictures with her if you want to.
2点から撮影して立体視できるようにすれば立体の生リカちゃんが自
What?
宅でいつでも食べ元に眺め放題
Sure.
いいねいいねいいね。
Rena's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our nose bled and we drooled. Awesome.
リカ、あいつらに近寄ると大変ですわよ。
You might have to. You need to arm yourself or something.
地下室とかに閉じ込められるかもしれないのです。
Rika needs to get a bat, that's for sure.
その割にはリカちゃん楽しそうだけど。
ミーがひどいことを言うのですよ。
We all laughed together again.
じゃ、もたもたしないで祭りを回るかね。リカちゃんの出番までそう時間がないでしょ。
Sounds
そう
good
だ
to
な
me.
よっしゃ行こうぜみんな
よ
Surely we aren't going to do the same things last time, right? I just wonder, I don't know.
豚肉たっぷりの焼きそばだぜよ。今年はイカリングまで入ってるボリューム派よ。
Wow.
へい親父、今年の焼きそばもなかなか力作じゃないの。イカまで入れるとは今年は奮発してるね。
美味しいね、美味しいね。
ああ、イカってのは食ってもうまいが、それ以上に匂いが香ばしいんだよな。軟弱になりがちな歯ごたえも実に見事に補ってる。イカと豚肉のボリューム感は実に素晴らしい。
But dang, Keiichi's a third reviewer.
悪くない出来だ。
へえ、ケイちゃんって何
Yeah, exactly.
ケイチくんが美味しそうに食べてると、なんだかいつもよりもずっと美味しそうに感じるもんね。
俺はうまいものはうまいっていう主義なんだよ。だから俺がうまいっていうものはとりあえず試してみる価値があると思うぞ。
ではケイチ、この焼きそばの評価を改めてどうぞなのですよ。
一言で言うとだ。
Okay, okay.
うまい。胃袋がもう一つあるんなら迷わずもう一つ買ってるな。
Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand.
おお、すごいよ。ケイちゃんがあんまりにも美味しそうに言うもんだから集客効果バッチリだ。
Yeah, they gotta give him a share of the profits. Come on. It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Mm-hmm.
あら、そうなんですの？では、私も挑戦してみましたよ。
Oh god, I feel like Sadako won't be good at
お
this.
じさん、たこ焼き一つくださいますこと？
Sadako bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus, from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them into her mouth. That's what Kyoko eats all the time in Madoka, right? Oh no, not all the time. We saw her eating it like once, right? When she was like walking to... Yeah, I guess I don't want to spoil Madoka Magica, but... we saw her eating those once. It was taiyaki, the little fish things. I am talking about takoyaki this time, yeah.
美味しい評価が出るなら、レナも買うよ。
Chomp chomp, choo choo, gulp.
さあ、料理評論家の北条聡子審査員のご感想をどうぞ。
Alright, alright. Though she was all for it a moment ago, Sadako hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it into their mouths.
あれれ？
Is it bad?
レナのは外れだね。
What?
僕のも外れです。
What?
タコさんが入ってないのです。
No octopus! This takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of summer festival only, octopus-free takoyaki stand? So what, they're just balls of fried dough? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured it would make them good money today.
あ、私のには入ってたわ。うん。タコが入っている分には十分うまいよ。
Okay, okay.
このタコなしたこ焼きをどう美味しそうに解説すればいいんですの？
Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical look seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line.
えっとね。
Well, you don't have to give a good review.
どうかな？
Just give a bad review. Say it was garbage.
たこ焼きなのにタコが入ってないからとタコの嫌いな人でも食べられる美味しいたこ焼き。
That's not gonna work. People are gonna... Everyone is gonna get out of the line right now. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the exact opposite effect.
じゃあ次は私が挑戦するよ。
Okay, okay.
小麦粉やネギ、紅生姜の味などの素朴さをしっとりと味わわせてくれる自信作。
Sure.
タコが入ってない分だけ素材の味が程よく。
No, that is not gonna work. It wasn't half bad, but after hearing the "there's no octopus in it" clause, even more people left the line.
リカちゃん
はい
は何かいいコメントはあるか？
This vendor gotta get him out of here. Like, come on.
率直でいいぞ。
これで400円は高いのです。
Yeah, it is all over. It's done. Gah, that was too honest. Even more customers leave the line, dealing a lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands around here after all. By the way, I'm telling you, this has to mean something. Takoyaki without octopus in it? Something that you expect to be there not being there. There's like the vaguest way you could look at it. I'm telling you, just like all the other games, it means something.
いやー、なんかその私らとんでもないことをしてるような。ほら、さとこ、あんたが始めたことなんだからビシッとここで逆転させなさいよ。
Let's go. Like Heichi try.
でございますわ。タコの入っていないたこ焼きなんてどう褒めればいいんですの？
Gah, you idiot. Sadako's angry outburst was the finishing blow.
お客さんみんないなくなっちゃった。あれれ、おじさん睨んでる。
I would be too.
なんでだろう、なんでだろう。はあ。
Sigh. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maibara-sama, will lend a generous hand. Okay, alright.
ケイイチならきっとなんとかできますですよ。タコなしたこ焼き屋さんを助けてあげてほしいのです。
笑顔でトゲのあることを言うな。まあわかった。俺がプロの技を見せてやるからよく見てろよ。
Alright, I'm ready. I shoved the stick into an octopusless takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it, but Mion's had some in it. That was the important point. It's a loot box.
本当の意味でたこ焼きが好きなんだ。
Okay.
いや、愛してると言っていい。
Are you sure? Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring
あ
at
の親
us.
父さんは本当にたこ焼きが大好きなんだ。大好きだからこそいい加減なたこ焼きを作りたくないんだ。そうだね、親父さん。
The takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserved such a high rating.
でもケイイチさん、そんなにたこ焼きが大好きならどうしてタコなしたこ焼きなんか作りますの？たこ焼きに対する裏切りではございませんよ。
You would think so.
そうだな、ある意味裏切りだ。だがこれは親父さんにとっての最大限の妥協点なんだ。
Okay,
親父
okay.
さんは今日だって本当のたこ焼きを作ってるよ。
I guess, if you say
で
so.
もそれはこの中のほんの一つか二つでしかない。
Yeah, it's a loot box, exactly.
ああ、そうだね。私の食べた一つにはタコは入ってたし、タコが入ってる分にはそんなに悪い味じゃなかったよ。
Mm-hmm,
そう
mm-hmm.
それが本物のたこ焼きだ。それ以外のたこ焼きは8個入ってなきゃたこ焼きじゃないという一般人の先入観への最大限の妥協なんだ。
Okay. I guess.
ケイイチくんの言う意味がわからないよ。
I'm not lying. My brain is working a million miles an hour. I literally am thinking of like crazy literary meanings, like that are like an analogy for stuff in the story that this means, but it all just sounds so stupid.
どうして本物は一つで他の
I like that.
なのかな
Like that line right there. You're gonna read that line and tell me that doesn't mean anything. Then that's just like died. It does this. I have to like take out the battery, put it back in. There we go. You're gonna read that line. Why is one of them the real thing and all the other ones are fakes? You're gonna read that line and tell me that it doesn't mean anything? Like, come on. Let's have some media analysis here.
その秘密はタコにあるんだ。
I say that when I don't know what it means. I just can tell that it means something. I don't know. I don't know.
親父さん、このタコ本物の明石のタコだね。
Sure.
明石のタコの水揚げは激減してとても高騰しているんだ。
Okay,
た
okay.
こ焼きなんかにとても使えないようなとても高い値段になってしまってるんだ。
And yet he did. Then the man, who had been looking down this whole time, mumbled.
そうよ。明石のタコはすごく高いんだよ。
でも親父さんは明石のタコにこだわったんだ。
Okay, okay.
安物のいい加減なタコを使えばいくらでもごまかせるのに。明石のじゃないのに明石という上りを立てて販売してるインチキたこ焼き屋は
This man's the real thing.
親父さんはごまかさなかった。嘘をつかなかった。タコは明石。
Interesting.
この一点だけを堅くなに譲らなかったんだ。
But you know what they say? Oh god, what was it? The fake and its deliberate attempt to be real can be more real than the real thing. So,
親父さんはたこ焼きを愛してた。 だから嘘をつけなかった。でもどうしても1点だけ強いられる妥協点があったんだ。
それは何ですの？
The amount per thing. Yeah.
たこ焼きってのは一船8個がポピュラーだ。
Okay.
いくら本物の明石のタコだからって言って400円で1個だけってわけにはいかないだろう。
That is kind of a
8個
lot.
にしなくては買ってもらえない。だから親父さんは涙を飲んだ。本物のたこ焼きを一つ作るために残り7個に嘘をつくしかなかったんだ。
Oh, whoa. The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clap one of his shoulders.
みんなが何と言おうと俺はあんたの純粋さを忘れない。
If you say so.
あんたこそは本物のたこ焼き屋なんだ。あんただけがたこ焼き屋を名乗っていいんだ。
Clap, clap. Clap, I'm not reading all that. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech.
さあみんな、この本物のたこ焼き屋のたこ焼きをどうか食べてやってくれ。こんな純粋な男を大事にしなくてどうして本当のたこ焼き道が守れようか。みんなが食わないなら俺が食うぞ。
Only the ones with octopus in them now, I'm sure.
見てた人たちがみんな並ぶよ。ケイチくん、やったやった。
Let's go!
たこ焼きが美味しそうに感じたってよりケイちゃんの味演説が面白かったからだろうね。
Maybe that should be the thumbnail.
ケイちゃんってガマの油売りとかやったらかなりウケるかもしれない。
Yeah, I know. He needs to get I don't know, a career in something, that's for sure. He has a way with words, huh?
スーパーの実演販売でもやれば
Okay.
そうですよ。
Well, that's lame. Don't say that.
怪しい万能包丁とか売りつける仕事に向いてそうですよね。
Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me.
おいおい兄ちゃんたち、うちのあんず飴も頼むよ。
よし、要領はつかめただろう。今度はレナが行け。
Oh god. Maybe.
頑張れよ。
We'll see.
あんず飴が冷えててとっても美味しいんだよ。
Okay,
飴
okay.
の上にね、ちょこってあんずが乗ってるの。かわいいね。本持ち帰り。
It looks like she lost herself in this midway, though. In this midway through? Wait, yeah. But a girl giving it such natural praise was itself bringing in some customers. A line was quickly forming behind Rena.
今度はお好み焼き屋だ。さとこ行け。
I don't Okonomiyaki? I don't know what that is. I had to look it up. Okonomiyaki. Japanese teppanyaki savory pancake dish consisting of wheat flour batter and other ingredients. It looks pretty good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. It does look good.
焼きそばに揚げ玉入りでカリカリなのがとっても美味しいでございますわね。大きなベーコンが丸ごと敷いてあってかじるとほらビローンって出てきて
おお、うまいうまい。それなら俺も食ってみたくなる。
Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around, all the stands.
みんなのを聞いてから食べるといつもよりずっと美味しく感じるからなのですよ。
So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her strand-maiden outfit from getting dirty. Aw.
よーし、おじさんも盛り上がってきたよ。よしケイちゃん、私はどれだ？
Give her something stupid.
よっしゃ。ミオはさらにその隣の露店へ行け。ミオンの底力見せて。
あれ？
Sorry, I skipped his
でも
line.
ケイチくん、お隣のお店は
Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element.
いや、部活の部長たるもの。
Okay.
相手がなんであれ逃げられないね。
Alright, alright. Let's see,
や
let's
ってみ
see.
るよ。
ミオンさんのお手並み拝見でございますわ。
I'm ready, I'm ready. The onlookers were also watching me on with hopeful eyes.
いらっしゃい。はいよ。網とは。
How is she gonna spin this? How is she gonna spin this?
し
Oh god.
金魚はみんな生きがいいね。
Mm-hmm,
実
mm-hmm.
に美味しそう。
What? Mion did not say that. It's Shion. Shion's here. God damn it. God damn it. Shion's here. Oh no. I should like obviously Shion's here. Man, we couldn't have had like a nice day of happiness with no Shion. She's here to embarrass Mion. Mutter mutter.
ミオンさんは何を言ってるんでございますの？兄ちゃん、食べてたの？
Okay.
去年レナからもらったのも
Okay.
私そんなこと言ってない。
Okay, Mion, you gotta get a grip, girl. You gotta, like, come on. Mion's face went red and she shook it vehemently in
い
denial.
やでも今ミオン
Okay.
自分で言ったぞ
Is everyone
実に美味
stupid?
しそうだって
Is everyone an idiot?
ええ、確かに言いました。
God.
お姉って雑食ですから、口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです。
美味しいなら今度僕も試してみるのです。
Okay.
ダメだよ、リカちゃん。お腹壊しちゃうよ。
Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here? Literally.
はーい。ケイちゃんにお姉にみんな、こんばんは。
Okay. She just screams. Shion shows up and Mion just screams. Okay. I guess. Sure. That's a man. That's a rough dynamic. Like what? She runs into Shion in the house and well, no, they live separately, don't they? Still, just like I don't know. Family meetings or something must be rough when Mion's reaction is to scream loudly. Not that I blame her. Like I would. Man. If I saw that thing walking around, I don't know, I'd call the police or something.
お姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられました。
I literally, go away, leave, please. It's supposed to be happy fun club time. Like, come on.
もう、お姉もあまり私を邪険にしないでくださ
I
い。
don't really think she is.
ケイちゃん、
No, not
私
right.
が一緒でもいいですよ
No,
ね。
no, go away. No, leave. She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest onto it. Thanks.
ケイチ君、鼻血出てるよ。
Oh god. Don't say that. Rena, it's not his fault. I mean, it is, but like, come on. I don't say that.
ところてんを押したらうーって出るんだよ
Okay, alright.
あれと同じだこれは抗いようのない現象なんだよ
へえ、そうなんですか。じゃあ、力を入れたら
Okay,
もっと出てく
alright.
るかな。
Listen.
キュ
Okay, alright. Yeah, yeah. What was that sound? What was that? Oh god. It's so bad though. Like, oh no.
不潔ですわ。見損ないましたよ。僕の平らなお胸では
Okay,
そうなんです。
Like, we're corrupting Rika now. It's all over. It's all over. Man. Shion has done irreparable damage to the dynamic of everyone. Thank you, Rena. Thank you. Boom, boom, bang. Shion, Rika-chan, and I, our faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled.
よくやったレナ。
Exactly.
みんな不潔なんだよ。
She's taken out the trash. Thank you.
レナに殴られたのです。
That is probably the first time Rika has gotten punched by Rena.
痛いのですよ。
Oh god.
リカは自業自得でしたよ。
There's gonna be some serious cognitive dissonance with Rena when she sees Rika crying about this. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%.
お 姉の友達は実に愉快です。
It's, yeah, it's supposed to be her friends. Come on.
退屈しないな。
Hmm.
ああ、そう。あんたさえいなくなればもっと愉快なんだけどね。
Oh, God.
もっと一緒にいたいけど、あんまりケイちゃんを誘惑すると本当にお姉に
I
噛みつかれち
please,
ゃ
I
うそうです。
wish. That would be, I would love that. Yeah,
だから
sounds good to me.
一時退却しますね。また来ます。じゃあね、お姉。二度と来るな。
Please, yeah, never come back.
負けしよ
Exactly. Please, like, we need yeah, everyone needs a bat. That's for sure. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared. Maybe the evil version of Mion and all of Onikashi was actually Shion. How about that? How about that? That can be my new headcanon, you know? It was actually Shion that Keiichi beat to death at the end of Onikashi.
珍しいミオンさんを見た気がしますわ。
Yeah, I wish, like, God, I hate it so much. I hate Shion. Oh, God.
しーちゃんが一緒だとみーちゃん
I don't say that.
なんだか可愛いね。
Oh, no. Runa smiled happily, earning herself a whack on the head from Mion.
アホなこと言ってんじゃないよ。次行くよ、次。
We went about it just like that, really noisy and lively to the other stands. Because, like, the dynamic between Mion and Shion, it could be, like, nice and normal, but it's not at all. And it's like, it's so obvious that it comes from such a crazy, awful place of insecurity from Mion. And, like, that's just what makes it so awful. And it's like, oh God, it just hurts me physically. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Ooh.
リカ、そろそろ時間みたいでございましたよ。
Alright.
いよいよなんだね。
Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance.
ちょっとドキドキしてるのです。
You'll be
信じなって。
fine. Yeah.
リカちゃんが流してきた汗は絶対に無駄になんかならないから。
Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back.
そうですわ。リカはきっとやり遂げますわ。頑張るのですよ。うん、その息だよ。
I ball my hand into a fist and raise it into the
応
air.
援してるぞリカちゃん。ファイトオンだぜ。
Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off.
じゃあ私たちも行こうよ。
そうだな。応援してやろうぜ。
ダメですのよ。演舞中は静かにしていないといけません
Okay,
ございます
sure.
よ。
I got it, geez. I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end.
なら急いで行かないといい場所がなくなっちゃうよ。行こう。
Mion ran off, and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Edifying? I
こりゃ
do not know that
す
word.
ごい人手だな。
Edifying. Am I saying it right?
Edifying.
Yeah, edifying. Okay. Providing moral or intellectual instruction. Man, I've never heard that word. I feel like I've never even heard like a different. Like edify is apparently like a verb version of it. I've never heard that word in my life, so I learn something new every day, I guess. I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd, or is it Shion? It definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated. No big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. Wait, let me... Okay. Got it. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me, though. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. I hope we hear that music again, that, like, kind of vaguely creepy, droning music, you know, that they used last time. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. Yeah, this one. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on the stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. Who are the elders, exactly? I heard low exhalations of admiration and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then, the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi-pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift it in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised and dropped it, again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. Solemnity? I don't know. I feel like I've never said that out loud. Like, it would be solemn, you know. Solemnity? Solemnity? That just sounds horribly wrong, doesn't it? It sounds like you should say the N. What? No one cares. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her.
ケイちゃん、
Go
こっ
away.
ちこっち。
No, let's not. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of.
シオンなんだなんだ
Oh god.
黙ってついてきてくださいね。
Okay, where are we going? After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. As I wondered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds.
おいおいどこ行くんだよ
Where are we going? Hey, wait, yeah, oh, he just said that. I don't need to read that.
これじゃあどんどん離れちゃってるぞ
黙ってついてくればわかりますから。
Okay, we're missing the performance. Like, we're supposed to be supporting Rika, remember? Come on. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. God. No sign of people, and not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here?
そっかどこか高いところがあるんだな屋根の上とかそういうところから見下ろそうって言うんだろ
はい。なんで屋根に登んなくちゃいけないんです？
だってそうじゃなかったらどうやってリカちゃんの演舞を見るんだよ
リカちゃまの演舞なんか見たかったんですか？
Well, yeah, of course.
ケイちゃん、ひょっとしてストライクゾーン、
Okay,
ものすごく低くありません？
Come on, please, let's, come on.
なんだか話が微妙に噛み合わないぞお前は俺をリカちゃんの演舞がよく見える場所に案内してくれるんじゃないのか
はい。誰もそんな約
Okay,
束してませんよ。
Well, sure, no one did. Like, shut up. Nah, what's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? No. Am I just reading the wrong things into it? No, it's everything is her fault, objectively.
じゃあお前は俺をなんでこんなところに呼び出したんだよ
With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and female of the same age are all alone together." Right. Could this be? Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she?
あれを見てください。
Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbush. And there we saw it. Two figures, one male and one female.
なんだありゃまさか
相敵の生現場に決まってるじゃないですか。
Okay.
あれ、誰だかわかります？
I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitaki-san and Takano-san. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Okay, yeah.
まさかシオンこれを見せたくて俺を呼んだのか
ケイちゃん、リカちゃまの演舞は毎年見られるけど、こういうのは二度とお目にかかれません。
I get but how does Shion know what they're gonna do though, right? Because we know what Takano's gonna do? She's going into that storehouse to look at whatever it is. But what does Shion think's gonna happen? And also, like, you're evil. We gotta watch Rika's dance. Like, come on. I thought the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar. There's no way Mion would say that.
二度とこんなのに呼ぶなよな。
今動いたらバレちゃいますって。
At our noisy arguments, Takano-san suddenly turned around.
あらあら、どなたかしら？
We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush.
どうもこんばんは。お月様の綺麗ないい夜ですね。
あらあら、しおんちゃんに前原くんじゃない。こんばんは。月の綺麗な夜ね。
It sure is.
おやおや、ケイチ君も隅に置けないね。
Why do we still have the different voice actor?
こんなところで相引きかい？だとしたら、僕たちとんでもないお邪魔をしちゃったかな。
You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Tomitake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason.
ってことは、富武さんたちは相引きしてたってわけじゃないみたいですね。
それはもちろん違うよ。そういうロマンスも嫌いじゃないけどね。
So I guess that's just what Shion thought it was. Okay.
残念だけど、あなたたちが覗き見したくなるような相引き現場じゃないのよ。期待に添えなくて申し訳ないわね。
相引き現場じゃなかったら何してるんですか？富武さん、今扉の南京錠をいじってませんでした？
I wonder, like, I assume Shion's not going to tell anyone about this. So, like, I'm thinking back to Onikachi now. Like, I guess I wonder, where was Shion during Onikachi, you know? What was she doing? Where was she? Did she come? I assume she would have came to Watanagashi anyway, but maybe she wouldn't have? I don't know. Huh. After she said that, I looked at the two of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock.
バレちゃしょうがないな。僕たちが倉庫破りをしてたなんて内緒だよ。
内緒って、それ、泥棒ってことですか？
Maybe. I demanded unthinkingly, just because of how absently Tomitake-san was grinning.
いやーね、泥棒ってのは物を盗む人
Yeah,
た
she
ち
just
のこ
wants
とで
to,
しょ。
you know, appreciate them.
別に私たちは物を持ち出そうとしているわけじゃないのよ。
Appreciate the cultural value.
じゃあ何のために鍵開けなんかしてるんですか？ここ、開かずの西宮殿ですよね。古出家とほんの一握りの人間しか入ることが許されないっていう。
Forbidden storehouse. I took a few steps back at that and looked on the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened. And it was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different. It was certainly different than normal warehouses.
ここはね、西宮殿といってね、西宮をしまっている倉庫なの。
And I guess that would, like, based off what they are, and, like, what these tools look like, I guess it would give you a hint. I guess it give you, like, what if it looks like it's been used recently? Imagine how terrifying that would be, you know?
いえ、西宮を祀っている神殿と言ってもいいかもしれないわね。リカちゃんが奉納演舞で使っている祭事用のクワも、今日までこの中にしまわれていたものよ。もちろん、古出家の人間以外は、
They get sacrificed.
汚れを持ち込むから、立ち入り禁止の不可侵
impurity.
領域。
Yeah.
聖域なの。
Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this, then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst.
私、ひなみ沢の昔語りや伝承を趣味で研究してるって言ったわよね。
Sure.
私の知的興味のさまざまな答えがこの中に詰まってるの。この中に入れるチャンスを今日までずっと待ってたんだから。
A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot.
へえ、富武さんに鍵開けの技術があるなんて知りませんでした。
Does he, or are they just struggling with it?
あ、よしてくれよ。僕だっていやいややってるんだよ。
And now his normal voice actor's back. What's going on?
付き合わせてしまってごめんなさいね。でも、二郎さんのおかげよ。感謝してるわ。
And now, if they do this, like, let's say that they did this whole going into the warehouse thing in Onikashi as well, then that is a much more reasonable explanation for me as to why they would be targeted by the curse/village conspiracy, right? So, I mean, reasonable is that, I mean, obviously it's still, it's insane to kill them for this, but, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, no, they couldn't have done this. They couldn't have done this during Onikashi, right? Because Tomitake was taking pictures during Rika's dance in Onikashi.
でも高野さん、こういうのはこれっきりにしてくれよ。こういうところに黙って入り込むのは、やっぱり気が引けるよ。
Although I guess, I don't know, who knows? I mean...
やっぱり二郎さんはいい人ね。
Crooklink? Tomitake-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side.
開いたよ。
ありがとう。いよいよね。
Oh god. Takano-san gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave the heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it feels like we could be punished somehow.
どう？あなたたちも共犯なんだし。
Don't say that.
せっかくだから一緒に
Don't say
見
that.
学しない？
Don't say that.
ひなみ沢の皮脂を埋める貴重な文化遺産の見物会よ。今日だけの限定会館。
別に俺たち共犯ってわけじゃ。
Yeah, you aren't, I guess.
面白いと思いません？ね
They're gonna be, though, aren't they? They're gonna go in. Shion said, predictably, linking her arm with mine.
でもこれは絶対いけないことだよ。神聖な倉庫なんだろ。西宮殿って言ったっけ。ますます勝手に入っちゃまずいよ。
私は一応園崎の人間ですから、
Okay,
この
true.
中にあるものはおおよそ想像がついてます。でもそれはケイちゃんにも見てもらいたいものです。
俺に見てもらいたいもの？
I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy, too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose then, I want to see. Until the locked door is open now. I don't know about this.
面白くないって思ったら、ケイちゃんはすぐに出ればいいです。
No chance of that, right?
興味を惹かれると思いますけどね。
Tomitake-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest.
僕がここで見張っててあげるから。
Okay.
一緒に見てきてごらん。僕はあまり趣味が
Imagine
ないけど。
someone comes, he has to lock them all
圭
inside.
一君みたいな若い男の子には結構面白いかもしれないよ。
God, why is Tomitake creepy sometimes? He said, laughing mischievously. There's no ill will in his laughter, if you say so.
富武さんはこの中に何があるのか知ってるんですか？
Unlikely.
まあね、高野さんにたっぷり聞かされてるからね。
Okay.
相方の特殊な趣味に付き合わされる殿方も大変ですね。
Tomitake-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had interest in and go straight for it, but Tomitake-san, on the other hand, seemed like a gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter.
じゃあちょっとだけな。面白くなかったらすぐ出るぞ。
Okay. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink.
決まったみたいね。じゃあ行きましょうか。
And with that, that might be where I have to stop it. I'm sorry. I don't know how long this is gonna be, and I actually have stuff I have to do. So, sadly, I can't be here for 2 hours or however long this would take. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I want to see where we're going. I wish I could keep playing, but man, I'm busy. So, sorry. I know, it's how are you gonna live? You only get an hour and 5 minutes of video. Man, you guys are gonna starve to death, I'm sure. Well, that was cool. We had some fun game times. I still hate Shion. Yeah, that about summarizes it. So, I don't know. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I don't know what you leave a comment about this time, about this part. But, yeah, and I will see you in the next one.